What's up, peeps? It's Steve with Legacy Eats. Today we're making lunch for the Virginia Institute of Autism. Just a little way of saying thank you for all that they do for us. And today we're making them butternut squash soup. This will absolutely blow your mind. This soup is absolutely phenomenal. I've got some beautiful butternut squash here. I love to source my ingredients as much as I can from the Saturday morning market here in Charlottesville, Virginia. So in the group of people that we're serving at the Virginia Institute of Autism, we've got a couple dietary restrictions, we've got some gluten intolerance, and we've got some dairy restrictions that we can't have. So in the sense of legacy, keeping everybody included, I'm going to show you a great, easy way to make sure that the dairy-free options and the gluten options are included in this dish.
Right down? He's a good cook.
We start off by roasting off our butternut squash. We're just going to cut those in half, scoop the seeds out with a spoon, and we're going to take a little bit of olive oil or canola oil, and we're going to drizzle just a little bit on each, and we're going to give those a quick rub down. Then we're going to take brown sugar and give that just a quick little tiny dusting on each one. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. We're going to place those into our oven at 400 degrees. But also joining them, we're going to take these 3 bulk heads of garlic and we're going to cut just the top off of these bad boys. Something to keep in mind as well, when you roast garlic this way, you only get about 2/3 of the full flavor of garlic. If you're looking at something with a little more garlic punch, smash and roll some fresh garlic in there as well. A little bit of olive oil and a little bit of salt and you're ready to go. We're going to pop these guys into the oven at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes or until they're all tender. While we let these roast in the oven, we're going to gather all the rest of the ingredients that we're going to need to make our soup. So moving forward with our butternut squash soup, we should already at this point have our butternut squash roasted along with our bulk heads of garlic. Those should be out ready to go and cool down slightly. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare our butternut squash soup base, and then just at the end, when we add our cream and blend everything together, we're going to separate a little bit. And instead of using cream for our lactose intolerant, we're going to use soy milk. And we've also got a wonderful gluten-free bread that we're going to make some croutons with for garnish. That way everybody can enjoy this amazing soup. We've got a full cup of onions, we've got a half a cup of carrot, a 1/4 cup of celery, and a full cup of Granny Smith apples. That's definitely the secret here. So we're going to get our pan nice and hot. We're going to add 4 tablespoons of oil. We're going to add all of our veggies to the pan. Going to grab our wooden spoon and get that worked around a little bit. So we've got these beautiful heads of garlic that we roasted, and if you roasted them properly, we'll just be able to squeeze these right out of here into the rest of these vegetables. Now we've got all of our veggies in there, we're going to think about adding some spices, but we're going to let this go for a second. When you add that garlic, that's about the time that Mr. Video Game or Miss iPhone starts looking up wondering what that smell is. They're going to start wondering what's cooking. Bring people back to the kitchen, you know what I mean? If you haven't already, we're going to take this opportunity to grab our butternut squash. That should be fully soft and a little bit cooled down now. And we're just going to take a spoon and we're just going to scoop this stuff right out. This is what she's going to look like. Kind of shredded, kind of pulled apart. That's okay, that's what you want here. You want it to have some chunk left to it. And when you start to see some of these ingredients work on such a basic level, you start to understand their flavor profile. We're going to let these vegetables go, and we want to develop a little bit of that brown caramelization on the bottom of the pan. That's actually called fond. And what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this vegetable stock right here to deglaze that, which means we're going to bring all of those crispy bits up and back into our veggies so that we don't lose that and so that it doesn't burn later on down the road. We sweated our vegetables down a little bit, and now we're going to add some of our seasonings. We're going to start off with our salt, oregano, ginger, crushed red pepper, black pepper. In this mixture we've got rosemary, thyme, sage, and parsley. The last thing we'll add is a little bit of brown sugar, and that's going to really help things caramelize. I can't describe to you what this smells like. It's ridiculous, really. And you'll notice the aromatics and the way that they change the longer they're on the heat. You don't want to get these things burnt, but you do want to understand and be able to identify and notice the certain notes of caramelization as those get brought up. Now we can really start to really appreciate the flavor profile that we're building here with these fresh herbs. this go for a second and let these aromatics break down a little bit and get us some caramelization on the bottom of that pan. So they'll take on almost a savory sweetness. And you'll see some good color at the bottom of your pan, and that's when you add a little bit of that vegetable stock. We're gonna add that vegetable stock a little bit at a time. We're gonna bring up all the flavors that we possibly can off the bottom of that pan and keep them in our veggies, because we want that in our soup. We don't want that to stay on the bottom and potentially get burned. We wanna keep that flavor while it's perfect. So we're gonna add just a little bit. See that sizzle? Yeah, that's what we're looking for right there. As soon as you add that, you're going to notice the flavor profile change right off the bat. Then you can add the rest of your vegetable stock. Go ahead and drop in your squash. Bring that up to a slow simmer and let that rock for 20 minutes. Now that we've let our butternut squash and our veggies go for about 20 minutes on a low simmer, we're going to go ahead and hit that with the hand blender, or you can just transfer that to a blender and mix it up in small batches. However, don't add any cream or anything until after we puree. Now we've got this all pureed up without the cream. We're going to separate some of this off so we can blend some soy milk in with some of this cream for our lactose intolerant friends. It's really this simple. It's honestly that simple to make sure people get included. And I can promise you, the extra 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes it took to do this will mean more to that person with dietary needs than you could ever imagine. And now, you get to go to somewhere like the Autism Institute, around people who are used to not being included, and they're included. And now this is okay to have lactose. So we're going to take our cup of heavy cream and we're going to add it into our soup puree. And of course the very last touch before we serve is a little piece of butter. And for the people who can have lactose, we just take a little bit of butter and finish that off. Wow, that is absolutely perfect.